there is no longer any undefeated teams in Division I women's volleyball. It's because an upset happened last night. Unranked Iowa State defeated Texas 3-2 in Ames, Iowa. And I'm going to go over the score line and some stats for the game just to make some sense out of this. Texas won the first set 25-18. Second set, Iowa State 27-25. Third set, Texas 25-12. Fourth set, 27-25. Fifth set, 15-10, Iowa State. So, Texas had 80 kills on 170 attempts with 19 errors with a hitting percentage of .359, which is good. They had 74 assists in that match. No errors. But they have 5 service aces, which is good. But 8 service errors, though. They only had 24 assisted blocks and one solo block. So that's 13 blocks overall, technically, because assisted probably means 2 or 3. I don't know. It just depends on the number. I don't know. I really don't. But anyway, 73 digs in the match. So, and Iowa State had 64 kills on 165 attempts, 19 errors. So Texas had more kills, 60 assists, 8 service aces, 4 service errors. They had 0 solo blocks, but they had 10 assisted blocks and 65 digs. How in the world did Texas lose that? You outgained them. You did better in some areas, but it must be because of those long rallies when it counts the most. Iowa State won those more, and of course, they've kept on fighting back, and they were even done. I mean, I want to even go to the per set deal because the stats for the whole match doesn't make sense for Texas why they lost. The first set, Texas had 14 kills and 4 errors on 38 attempts. Second set, they did even better, 19 kills, 3 errors on 45 attempts. Yet they lost the second set despite hitting that great. So it must have been a defensive letdown. But we'll check in a minute, in a little bit. Third set, 19 kills, 1 error, 28 assists. Of course, they won that. That makes a lot of sense. Fourth set, 20 kills, 7 errors, 37 attempts. Yeah, they made too many errors. That's the only reason why I could think that would happen. Because the hitting percentage was good, but it wasn't great. I mean, it was good. I mean, the fifth set though, 8 kills, 4 errors, 22 attempts. That's not, definitely that was the lowest. And yeah, I mean, 182 hitting percentage. Now, for Iowa State, obviously the first set didn't go their way because they had 11 kills and 8 errors on 41 attempts. Yeah, that's easy. Why Texas won the first set now. Errors are errors. Second set, 21 kills, 3 errors, 42 attempts, 429 hitting percentage. Yep, it's the defense that cost them that second set. That's no question. Obviously, the third set was just a runaway freight train for Texas. I mean, 7 kills for Iowa State, 4 errors, 27 attempts, 111.111 hitting percentage. That makes a lot of sense. And Iowa State did have 17 kills, 2 errors on 37 attempts in the fourth set. Yeah, they had a higher hitting percentage. So, kill percentage, you know what I'm saying now. So, that's definitely the difference in that one. Defense let down. And obviously the fifth set, Iowa State had 8 kills, 2 errors, 18 on 18 attempts. Yeah, it's a defensive letdown for Texas, and that's 33.33% hitting. So, yeah, it's simple. The defense let them down last night for Texas. I mean, it's the truth. When you go per set deal, it makes a lot more sense instead of just overall stats. Because as you could tell, Texas did better as a team in some areas. Obviously not service aces. That's one. They had too many service errors. That's two. That's two areas. Both had the same amount of attacking errors, but they came more critical for Texas. Or it was about even with Iowa State. Like the second set, it was like 3 errors apiece. But you can't deny the fourth and fifth sets for Texas. They had a few too many hitting errors, and the defense let down. Texas had more digs, so you can't really say defensively it was a letdown. It's just Iowa State played too good at that point. I mean, in those areas. So yeah. Now, this definitely shakes up a lot of things. Conference race. It's now 1 game behind. Texas is still a game up, but of like Iowa State and Baylor that are currently tied, but because Iowa State beat Baylor and Ames 3-1 earlier, they're now that closer to the conference title race. But will Texas lose again? That's a big question. I don't know if they're going to lose at home to Iowa State, especially after barely losing this one. And Baylor's never won there before in that building. But you never know. So, yeah, and that's kind of a big deal when you think about that. Texas does have to worry from here on out. They have to stay perfect. Because if they lose to Iowa State, they're in trouble. Because, let's face it. And if Baylor beats Iowa State again, let's just say that. I mean, beats Iowa State at home, instead of, then it becomes a little more interesting. I mean, luckily the next few for Texas are against West Virginia. West Virginia, that should be a win. And that's at home. Texas Tech is a good team. 14 wins on the year. So that might not be a pushover in Austin, but you never know. They still have Kansas State on the road, which they already beat Kansas State in Austin, but it's on the road, so you never know. TCU is on the road, but they should win that one. So Iowa State is definitely one of those capable teams, as well as Oklahoma. Oklahoma on the road, they should win because of where Oklahoma is in the standings. It's just they lost some 3-2 matches though that could have gone easily the other way. So gotta keep that in mind. Kansas nearly beat Texas in Lawrence. They're capable of beating Texas in Austin, but I'm not going to say they're going to. Baylor's capable, and I know they're young, but they only lost 3-1 against Texas. I mean, that's a lot better than most teams in the country, except with the exception to Kansas. But you know what I'm saying. Then they have at West Virginia. They should win that one. So that's just a brief look at their Texas's schedule. There's still some matches to be played. I mean, there's still a lot of time because November 23rd is the last one in the regular season, that is. But I know some other teams, they have like November 26th actually as the last one. Like Baylor, for example. So I just want to go over this. Why did Texas lose and what the schedule looks like for Texas from here on out. I'm just saying the Big 12 is still a good league, though. I know they only have 2 ranked teams. I mean, Texas and Baylor. I think Iowa State should be ranked now. Because Iowa State's now 13-7 with 2 ranked wins over top 15 programs. They have to be in the rankings, in my opinion. They should be ranked or receiving votes at least. But they have to take care of business against some teams that they should be, like a TCU. They lost 3-1 to. They even lost to Kansas State 3-0. But they beat Kansas though, and they barely beat West Virginia 3-2. So, you know, I'm just saying. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later. It's going to do 400 subscribers and more by the end of this year.